What if Padme was a Jedi? This would not only change the fate of Anakin's destiny, but the galaxy as a whole. The rabbit hole goes deep and it was fun exploring. Let's get into it. In this reimagined timeline, our tales start during the Phantom Menace. Padmé Amidala, once Queen of Naboo, is now Force-sensitive Jedi apprentice under the tutelage of Qui-Gon Jinn, having left her royal duties behind after being discovered by the Jedi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon's former apprentice, has ascended to knighthood, carving out his own path towards mastery. The narrative unfolds similar to the film until the duel on Naboo, where Padme, not Obi-Wan, delivers the fatal blow to Darth Maul. Her unprecedented victory against the Sith earns her the rank of knight. Qui-Gon's final plea for Anakin Skywalker's training cannot be fulfilled by Padme due to her inexperience. Instead, Obi-Wan, determined to uphold his master's legacy, steps forward to mentor the future Jedi, setting the stage for a new chapter in the Jedi's history. In the hallowed halls of the Jedi Temple, Anakin Skywalker's journey was unlike any other. His master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, taught him with a steady hand, mindful of the immense potential that thrummed in Anakin's veins. The boy who would be the chosen one grew swiftly in power, his abilities blooming like a nova in the dark tapestry of space. High above, Padmé Amidala, now a knight, watched the young apprentice with a mixture of pride and competition. The shared history of Qui-Gon Jinn bounded them, a bond of loss and legacy that was a constant undercurrent to their interactions. Anakin, ever aware of Padme's achievements, saw her as a challenge to be met, a standard to exceed. Each demonstration of skill, each leap in his training was a performance, a silent declaration that he too could be great. Anakin's stride in the Force were not solely driven by ambition. His heart played as much a part of it as his power did. Each time he caught Padme's eye, a spark ignited, a silent challenge issued. With every duel, every Force-assisted leap and bound, he sought not just to impress her with his strength, but to draw a smile, a glimmer of shared joy. Padme, for her part, was amused by the young knight's brash confidence. She admired his growing prowess, and his flirtatious bravado often brought warmth to the cool halls of the temple. Anakin's display, though bold and sometimes reckless, were also endearing. His eagerness to show his progress was as much as a bid for her attention as it was a testament to his dedication. A friendly rival was formed, and they would train together sometimes. Their training sessions were filled with playful banter. Anakin, with a twinkle in his eyes, would execute a particular maneuver looking to Padme for approval. "You're approving, Anakin," Padme would say, her voice steady but her eyes betraying her pride. "But there's always more to learn. I only want to learn if you're the one teaching," Anakin would say. In the dance of flirtation and rivalry, the boundaries of the Jedi Code were tested. Anakin, driven by the whirlwind of emotions and ability, found in Padme both an anchor and a horizon to chase. As the galaxy edged closer to darkness, their light-hearted moments became a sanctuary, a reminder of peace in a time of a brewing storm. As Obi-Wan Kenobi pursued the elusive Jango Fett across the stars of the sand of Geonosis, Anakin Skywalker was tormented by visions, shadows of pain and fear that haunted his sleep. In the quiet of the temple, where whispers of the Force filled the air, he confided in Padme. Padme listened, her heart aching for the turmoil in Anakin's soul. In the gentle glow of the Coruscant night, she spoke of Qui-Gon's wisdom, reminding him that the greatest of Jedi Masters valued the heart's guidance as much as the mind's. "You must do what you feel is right, Anakin," Padme urged, her hand resting briefly on his. Qui-Gon believed in the living Force, in allowing our emotions to inform our actions, but not to control them. Resolved, Anakin planned his departure. The pull of his mother was a call he could not ignore. Padme, bound by bonds deeper than duty, chose to accompany him, her presence a silent vow of support. The twin sons of Tatooine casted long shadows as Anakin and Padme landed near the Lars homestead. Clinging to the hope that his mother still drew breath, Anakin was barely able to contain the storm of emotions swirling within him. Padme, observing his turmoil, offered her companionship on this painful journey. But Anakin, torn between the boy he once was and the Jedi he was becoming, chose to walk this path alone. He found himself at the threshold of the Lars homestead, where the reality of his mother's fate crashed upon him. Shmi had been taken by Tuskens. The Lars family, now Anakin's own by marriage, could offer little but the grim details of her abduction. With the twin sons bearing witness, Anakin strode out into the desert, his heart a furnace of fear and hope. Padme, left behind, felt a chilling ripple in the Force, the darkening horizon of Anakin's soul stretching out, touching the edges of her consciousness. Under the merciless sun, Anakin found his way to the Tusken village. A silent specter, he slipped through, his presence unnoticed until he stood before his mother, bound and broken. The reunion was a brief candle in the vast darkness, a son's whispered promises and a mother's final breath. Anakin's goodbye was a fractured thing, beautiful, and terrible as the last rays of the day surrendered to the night. As Shmi's life slipped away, so too did the restraint on Anakin's simmering rage. The desert air was soon thick with the scent of charred tents and the echoes of the Tusken's demise. Padme, sensing the cataclysm of emotions, headed to the village, her heart pounding. She arrived to devastation, the village consumed by flames and vengeance. In the midst of the carnage stood Anakin, the force around him a maelstrom of dark and light, a canvas of his internal conflict. Padme reached for him, her hands finding his in the dimming light, seeking to pull him back from the precipice on which he teetered, precipice that overlooked an abyss that threatened to consume them all. In the quiet aftermath of the Tusken village's destruction, the night air hung heavy with sorrow and the tang of smoldering embers. Anakin's silhouette, stark against the flickering fires, crumbled, his facade of strength dissolving into grief. He found solace in Padme's arms. "I will become the strongest Jedi that ever lived," he vowed. I whispered, laden with unyielding resolve, "No one I love will ever die again." The words were more than a vow. They were a confession of a heart laid bare, revealing a love for Padme. Padme, feeling the same love, but not voicing it, chose to be strong for both of them. She held Anakin close, providing comfort and a steady support. Her own emotions kept quietly in check. As destiny marched on, Padme and Anakin found themselves ensnared on Geonosis, bound and led to the monstrous arena. The specter of death loomed over them. Bound by chains, yet unshackled in spirit, Padme turned to Anakin. The impending battle, the presence of death, sharpening every sensation, every emotion. In this moment, the wall she had built, Jedi, protector of the Republic, crumbled into the dust around them. "Anakin," she began, her voice cutting through the din of the arena. "I've been living a life of masks and duties, but in the face of what might be our end, I can't hide my heart. I love you." The words poured out like a water from a broken dam, washing away years of silent longing and unspoken truths. The confession hung between them, a fragile truth that was theirs alone amidst the chaos. Anakin, who had known loss and vowed to become an unyielding force against it, found a new resolve in her words. It wasn't just the strength of the Jedi he sought now, it was the strength to protect, to cherish, to love without end. The relationship, born in the crucible of adversity, began with a promise to survive, to fight, and to hold fast to the sliver of hope that love had kindled in their hearts. With that vow sealed in the depths of the Geonosian arena, they stepped into the light together, ready to face whatever the fates would throw their way. In the battle, the Jedi and their would-be executioners clashed in the arena, but when all seemed lost, the tide turned with the thunderous arrival of Master Yoda and the clone troopers, shifting the imminent execution into a full-scale battle for survival. Emerging victorious from the chaos, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme, with their newfound strength as a Force-sensitive, pursued the fleeing Count Dooku. United by purpose, the trio navigated the war-torn skies of Geonosis, their dropships evading bursts of anti-aircraft fire. Landing in the hangar, the three faced Dooku together. Padme's presence altered the dynamic of the duel, her connection to the Force adding an unpredictable element to the confrontation that Dooku could not have anticipated. The battle that ensued was fierce, a clash of lightsabers and wills, as the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. Anakin, overconfident, lunged towards Dooku, his lightsaber carving arcs of blue light, but Dooku, with a sinister grace, summoned the Force to his command, striking Anakin down with a vicious torrent of lightning that sent him sprawling into darkness. Now outnumbered, Obi-Wan and Padme took up the charge, their movements a ballet of desperation and defiance. Dooku, his eyes alight with the Predator's glee, matched their every move with the precision of a master duelist. He was a storm of relentless aggression, and Obi-Wan was faltering, his defense broken by a swift strike that sent shocks of pain radiating from his wounded limbs. With his defense shattered, he collapsed, leaving Padme to face the Sith Lord alone. Padme, undeterred by the shadow of death, stood strong. She was the last hope against Dooku's darkness. Her lightsaber, an emerald flame in the dimness of the hangar. The duel was a tempest, and for a fleeting moment, Padme's blade sang with the promise of victory. But Dooku's experience in the dark arts was overwhelming, and with a ruthless thrust, the red lightsaber pierced her guard and her heart. The silence that followed was deafening. As Padme's body fell, time seemed to slow. Then, a resurgence of life sparked in Anakin as he awoke to the nightmare unfolding. The pain of loss, a feeling he knew all too well, fueled a resurgence of power within him, igniting a fearsome determination as he rose to challenge fate itself. Enraged by grief, Anakin's connection to the Force deepened, a raw surge of power that was as potent as it was untamed. His emotions, unchecked, pushed him towards the precipice of the dark side. Dooku, with decades of experience, recognized the potential power within the young Padawan, sensing the future that laid in Anakin. Anakin's grasp, a future where he could surpass them all. Yet, raw strength alone could not outmatch Dooku's cunning skill. The duel continued. Anakin's ferocity met with Dooku's cold precision. In the end, Anakin was overpowered and defeated. But before Dooku could deliver the final blow, the air crackled with the presence of a new combatant, Master Yoda. The diminutive Jedi Master faced Dooku, and their battle unfolded with a fury that mirrored the events in the movie. Anakin's heartache turned into a bitter wrath towards the Jedi Order and Obi-Wan, whom he accused of limiting his potential. He believed that he could have saved not only Shmi, but also Padme, if not for the constraints placed upon him. His grief turned into a dark resolve, and in a defiant act, he renounced his place within the Jedi Order, departing into the galaxy as the Clone Wars erupted in full. As Anakin ventured alone, wrestling with his spirit, a shadowy figure observed from afar. Sensing the opportunity in a powerful, unanchored force wielder, this figure, steeped in the dark side, reached out to Anakin, offering him a path where no limits would be placed upon his power. Anakin, driven by a maelstrom of vengeance, pain, and the desire to protect, found the offer impossible to resist. Thus, he began to walk a path that would eventually reshape the galaxy.